Hello, welcome to your 6th tutorial on HTML. Today we'll talk about metadatas and additional features. So as you can see, our structure is a little different today. So this is a more professional way of writing HTML, if that makes sense. So basically, as you can see, the HTML tag is the biggest tag. So imagine it as like a parent and their child. So this is the parent and the head is the child. And if the head is the parent, the title is the child. That probably doesn't really make sense, but you can go ahead and search it up on Google, nesting HTML structure. So let's get started. The first thing we'll do is set an image as our background for our web page. What we're going to do is we're going to open Notepad. And what we're going to do first is go into our body tag and type in background equals to quotation marks. Now let's go into our folder and let's pick an image. So let's say I want this 2.gif, and as you can see it's animated as it's a GIF. So what I'll do now is I'll minimize this, and as you can see the name of it is 2.gif. So what I'm gonna do is type here 2.gif, and when we save and refresh our page, we'll get our background as the GIF, and it looks cool as it's animated, but you can insert whatever you'd like, it doesn't really matter. So let's write a heading for our page so we don't have it empty. So the first thing I'm going to do is type in H1. As you can remember, it's the biggest heading size. So let's give our web page a name. So I'll name it my web page, and I'll close out of this, and let's save this, refresh, and as you can see here we have our title. And let's say I want this to be in the middle. What I'm going to do is write in the center tag, so that goes before H1, so type in center, and let's close this as well, and let's save and refresh, and here we have our title in the middle. So next we should add some color to our title. So what we're going to do is type in the font tag. So just after our first H1 tag, let's write font and color equal sign to quotation marks. Let's just say I want it to be red. I'm going to type red. You can write whatever you'd like, it doesn't really matter. And I'll close my font tag here, and let's save this. And now we should have a red title, and here we go, here it is. So as you know, in HTML, if we want to add some color to our web page for anything, we just give it its standard name. So for red, we just wrote red. However, there's another way of getting colors, which is by hexadecimal values. So I'll give you a quick color explanation on hexadecimal values. So hex numbers use 16 digits, so it's from 0 to 9 and from A to F. 0 is the smallest representation of a color, it's almost the total absence of color. F is 15 times the intensity of the color of 0. Combinations of these digits create different shades of a particular color. 00, 00 is equal to 0 hue. FF is equal to a pure color. So this color representation is done 3 times, once for red, once for green, and once for blue, in that order. Put the 3 2-digit codes together and you get a 6-digit hex code. For an example, the opposite ends of the color scale are 6 Fs, and the color would be white. That's because the 3 colors are set to FF. That means the highest level of red, green, and blue. And for black, we just have to insert 6 zeros, and we get a black. So I'll show you the hexadecimal value color of red, and that is basically FF0000. This is displayed as red is set to its highest value, which is FF, and others are set to their lowest value, 0, 0. So what we do when we insert a color, we have to type in a hashtag and whatever the code is, so FF0000, and when we save and refresh, the color shouldn't change on my web page as it's red, and here we have it, it's still red. And let's say we want it to be violet, that is EE82EE. The red and the blue are pretty high levels, the green is there, but at a lower level. Now this isn't purple, but it's violet. So if we save this, we should get a violet color for our title. And here we go, as you can see, it's now violet. And I recommend you search this up on Google, search the color codes, etc., and try it out for your web page. So as you can see, my web page doesn't really look completely done. So to add something to it, let's add some text. So let's quote something from somewhere, and we do that by using the block quote tag. So that is block quotes. And let's go here. Let's type in web pages, and let's go into, let's say, what is a web page, and let's copy this. Copy. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna insert it here. And what we're gonna do is give a citation. So what we do is type in the cite attribute, equal sign to quotation marks. And let's go back here, copy this, and paste it here. And let's close our block quote tag. So we should add something else to this. So let's add a P, and let's say this is text from Computer Hope. Computer Hope website. This is text from the Computer Home website, and let's close our P tag. As you know, it's the paragraph tag, and let's save it and come back here. And as you can see, we now have our text, and we have where it's from, so the citation. And there's also another way of doing this. It's the Q tag. So you type in Q and cite, and it's exactly the same thing. So let's try it out, and let's come back here, and let's copy this, and let's copy this. Let's paste the text here, and let's add the website as well, which is exactly the same as this. It's from the same website. Paste, and let's close this. And now close your Q tag, and let's save it. Go back to our web page, and as you can see, it's the exact same thing, plus it has the quotes as well. So let's move on from here, and let's talk about spaces and symbols inserted on our web pages. So as we know, if we want to have an extra space, what we do is we type in the and MBSP semicolon. Let me just show you so you know what I'm talking about. We learned this in our previous lessons. So let's say we want some extra space between an and example. What we do is we're going to type in an and sign, and we're going to type in NBSP semicolon. And let's say we want 3 of these spaces. We're going to duplicate this 3 times, and if we save this, as you can see, we have some extra space here. And next, let's say you want to insert some symbols in your text. So let's say it's a euro sign or a dollar sign. What we do is type in the number. So let's say it's $3. We type in an and sign, dollar, semicolon. Let's save this. And as you can see, we have a dollar sign. And you can do the same thing with a euro sign, which is just euro. And let's save this and refresh our page, and we get our euro sign. So let's say you're talking about a company on your web page, and you need the trademark and copyright logos. So let's say the company is L'Oreal, so we type in L'Oreal, and we want the trademark logo. So what we do is we type in an and symbol again, type in trade, semicolon, and now we should get our trademark logo, our trademark symbol. And here we go, we have the company's name, and we have TM, which is trademark. And there's also a copyright symbol, which is just the same thing, and you write copy instead. Save, refresh, and as you can see, we have the copyright symbol as well. So now let's move on to something completely different. These are the metadatas. So you're probably thinking what these are. These are basically information about data. So the meta tag provides metadata about the HTML document. It won't be displayed on the page, but it will be machine parsable. All of our meta tags go in the head section of our HTML code. So metadata elements are typically used to specify page description, keywords, authors of documents, and some other things. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into head, and what we're going to do is we're going to get some space here, and let's type in meta name, the name attribute, equals 2 quotation marks, and let's type in robots, and let's type in content, and the content is set to all. So this is used to tell the spider of our search engine the contents of the page. So if that just confused you, I'll tell you what spiders are. So spiders are software programs developed by the search engines that crawl the web for websites just to add them to their database. Spiders read your meta tags and see how far they are allowed to crawl into your website. So how do you explain to a spider of a search engine you only want it to index just the first page of your website, or that it is allowed to index the whole website? You use a specific HTML meta tag, the so-called the meta robots tag. So that is the robots in our name attribute value. So the next thing that we can do is change the content attribute value. So let's duplicate this. So let's change the content to index follow, and I will explain this as well. Let's type in a comma and type in follow. This means that the spider will now index your whole website. The spider will not only index the first web page of your website, but also all your other web pages. Let's duplicate this and try something else. So let's type in index no follow. So by changing the index to no index and the follow to no follow, you're able to influence the behavior of the spider. If you don't want the search engine spider to crawl through your whole website, you use this tag. So the value changes to index no follow. So this next one is basically a tag where the spider will not look at this page but will crawl through the rest of the pages on your website. And the next one is no index no follow. So this basically means that the spider will not look at this page and it will not scroll through the rest of your web pages. So you're also allowed to type it in small letters as well. It doesn't matter if you type it in all capitals. And lastly, let's move on to something else. So let's duplicate this, change the content attribute value to none. So this is the same thing. The spider won't crawl through your web page at all. So next, let's move on to something else, and let's type in another meta tag. So let's type in meta HTTP line equiv, which is equivalent, and let's put in an equal sign, 2 quotation marks, and let's type in refresh. And let's add another attribute, which is content again, and equal sign, 2 quotation marks, and let's type in a 3. So this means 3 seconds, and this is refresh. So if we put those together, it's basically going to refresh your page in 3 seconds. Now let's add a link to this. So now when we refresh, it will refresh to a new URL and a new link will be opened. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna delete this 1 quotation mark, and we're going to type in a semicolon, and we're going to type a URL equal sign, and we're going to type in, let's say we want our page to refresh to Google. We type in http:// and google.com, and I'm going to delete this first quotation mark, and let's save this, and this should refresh our page in 3 seconds to Google. And here we go, here is Google, and as you can see it took it 3 seconds to refresh. So let's go back. So the next thing that we'll do is type in meta, and we'll bring this up here so it all matches and it looks clean. Type in name =, 2 quotation marks, and let's type in author. So this is how people find out about the authors of documents, through metadata, and this is how it's written in HTML code. Type in content =, 2 quotation marks, and let's type in John Smith, for example. Let's close this. Now, next let's move on to Metadata. So Metadata basically specifies the character encoding for the HTML document, and this is how it's written. So it's UTF line 8, and we close this, and I made a mistake here. Let's go back, delete this, and as I said, it specifies the character encoding for the document, and we can check this by going into encoding, and as you can see, we're now encoding in UTF-8. So thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time.